So when I think about Arizona, I think about brah, 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 in the Midwest, and you're like, I'm a guy. I live a short life because I play with my stuff. Not that kind of
I think
stuff.
about
Well, not that kind of
regulators.
regular.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
I think about regulators, mount up. That's what I think about.
Oh,
Think about
I just.
bushels, dry areas, chapped lips, and the saloons.
But
Pretty much.
would we be like okay? Okay. Oh, I hate it when I get like
Let's
this.
be honest. What would we be?
We'd be harlots.
There we
Harlots.
go.
We would
There
be
we go.
madam.
There's the name. I was trying to think with the corset. The corset.
Oh, I thought
Mine.
you were
I was like doing all this weird stuff. Like, but I would want a red corset. I don't know. Something about the Midwest and red. It's like, you
I like the
know?
red and black together. Like the
do too.
ruffles, old school the ruffles too, you know.
Yes.
That's pretty.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a corset like that, and it be itchy. The ruffles, they be itchy. Itchy, just thinking. Anyways. Okay, so anyways.
Oh, you thought you got away?
On this episode of Hauntings Around the World, I am doing Gadsden Hotel in Douglas, Arizona. It was built in 1907. It finally opened its doors. It had 160 rooms and became a home away from home for cattlemen, ranchers, miners, and, businessmen that were traveling. The hotel was leveled by fire in 1929 and rebuilt by an architect, Henry Trust. The Gadsden spacious main lobby is majestic, people say. It is just beautiful. Solid white Italian marble with a staircase that just goes up. 4 columns in the middle. It's gorgeous. With room 333, guests had reported hair pulling, a radiator knocking all night, like when it's not being used. We all know radiators knock when the pressure goes up, but it wasn't in use at the time. Little is known about the woman who haunts this room, but people definitely say she haunts the room. And then we gotta remember this hotel is one of the historic hotels in Arizona. And a lot of television shows and stuff went and did EVP and stuff like that in this hotel. But also a lot of stars have stayed in this hotel. This hotel has a little haunted history with people leaving the hotel in the middle of the night, refusing another room. Like a guest in room 114 said she was pinned down to the bed. When she could escape, ran out of the room and refused to go back in the room. They had to get her stuff for her, and she refused to stay for the rest of the night. A lot of maids and stuff in this hotel have reported cold spots, somebody speaking to them like voices disemboweled type of things. And then some of the newer staff feel a little uncomfortable not knowing the history. Servers in the coffee shop there, have reported over the years they've been hearing yet again voices or seen something, looking up thinking there's a guest and there's no one there. So you get that feeling of somebody watching you too in this one. They had somebody work in the hotel for 36 years at one point, and he said the ghosts provide company in this isolated town. So he has embraced this haunted location, which I think is pretty cool. But a lot of guests, their main thing is, like, they'll tell you the heart feels like it's coming out of their chest when they hear stuff or see stuff that should not be there. That's how you know the hauntings are just out there, man. They're really good hauntings. And this one, Arizona itself is a beautiful Wild West state. Like, remember the travelers back in the day, the gold rushes and everything going through Arizona when it was unsettled, and these are the hotels that are left behind. Meaning left behind is just a history rich and deep steeped in unlawfulness. So one can only imagine what went on in this hotel in the early 1900s. But yet again, get out and explore. America has some beautiful sights to see. And like always, blessed be and please stay haunted. Love y'all. First, we're going to start with a Gadsden Hotel ghost story, and then we're going to watch a clip and then go to the next one. This one starts, the hotel was done in 1907. The ghost stories for this is many employees and guests of the Gadsden have encounters with a Gadsden ghost. The ghosts have been reported mostly in the basement and is said to be a tall man in black clothing, often with no head. Some believe this ghost is a ghost of Pancho Villa himself. At the time of his death in 1923, Pancho Villa was reported to have a hidden treasure somewhere in the mountains of northern Mexico. The only map to this location was tattered on Villa's head itself. It is said that upon his death, Villa's loyal followers cut off his head and buried it under the ashes of the recently burned down Gadsden Hotel before they redid it, in order to forever keep the secret location of the treasure concealed. Unknowingly, the Gadsden Hotel was rebuilt over the top of the skull of Pancho Villa's remains, wandering the dark, damp halls of the Gadsden basement, searching for his head in the map of his treasure. Quoted from the Gadsden Hotel, daughter-in-law and hotel manager Robin will be one of the first to tell you more of the Gadsden's interest and past, as she recalls her first encounter with Gadsden ghost. It was 4:10, she said, on a Friday, March 13th, 1991. The power had failed and she was in the basement searching for candles. In the beam of her flashlight, she saw a faceless figure shaped like a man. He just kind of floated down the hallway, she recounted. It just looked like fog to me, but it was the shape of a person. For years, hotel workers and guests have confessed to seeing an apparition around Lent or Christmas time, often in the hotel's basement. Some people described it as a headless cape wearing army-style khaki clothing. In her 26th year of operating one of the oldest manual elevators west of the Mississippi, Carmen Diaz saw the ghost in the basement as well. She said he was a tall man, black pantsuit, no head. Another restaurant supervisor said she saw the shadow of a body hunched over her one night as she laid on her stomach in the bed in her hotel room. She said she witnessed immediately after a strange sensation where all of a sudden I couldn't move. She was pinned down to the bed. A movie crew member also told them that his light kept turning on and off in the middle of the night, and that his golf clubs went crashing down to the floor like a force had pushed them. So that's just some of them. Then in room 333, they also is a reported of a woman, but we don't know too much of the story of the woman. I couldn't find it. And then another one is the ghost through it. So the Gadsden is known for hauntings. That is basically the little ghost fairy there.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
I know. I think it's so crazy how they're seeing a ghost with no head, considering there's a man's head under the
It
whole
is.
entire foundation.
When the Gatson burned down, that's where he was buried, like the head. Then when they rebuilt it on himself.
Oh
That
my
is kind of
gosh.
freaky.
What kind of, it is freaky. Like, what kind of bad juju is that, bro?
I mean, I've heard of people building houses and putting like the Bible in their foundation, things like that. Or you hear like the ancestors being buried on the land that people built things on, but like having just a head
Yeah, it's
and then
messed up.
continuing to build on it.
Yeah, they did.
Like, it's fine. It's just a
How would we
skull.
feel if we were at a restaurant? Think about it. Think about all three of us being there at that restaurant and then just one day seeing a headless guy while we're there.
I would be like,
I don't
yo,
even
where's
know
your
how I don't even
treasure?
know how I would react to that one.
I'd be
I'd
like,
be
where's
like,
your treasure?
listen, I know we're already crazy. I know I'm the most crazy. But don't, like, I'll be like, eat my soup, like, don't look over there. Shh, don't look. Shh. You know. Um,
It's
no,
crazy, man.
I like that. That's completely different, you know.
I
Yeah,
kind of kept it out of the intro for a
it's
reason.
good. You did a
Yeah,
really
So we,
good
I like
job.
that though. I think that was really good because it kept me captivated. I was like, what?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. So
Did you know the last person to be buried at Boot Hill Cemetery was John Swain? He was there from 1845, died on 1945, but got there on 1875. Oh, what? So, Boot Hill Cemetery, that's the one that I'm doing today, and I'm about to get ready so we can record. Okay, so come record with me. Boot Hill Cemetery was known for a bunch of cowboys went out there, died with their boots on. So now they're all buried out there. They decide that they're going to have a shootout, like, not trying to be judgy with the guys, but women are known to live longer. So, anyways, there was this big shootout in the saloon, whatever. And so that's why they call it Boot Hill Cemetery, because a bunch of dudes were shooting at each other and died with their boots. It is known to be one of the most strangest haunted places in the U.S. Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the hauntings. Okay, so now that you watched the video, Boot Hill Graveyard in Tombstone, Arizona is known for so many hauntings, like so many. It has a lot of ghostly activity. It is popular for visitors. They'll come in and do their EVPs and whatnot, yada yada. It's actually the oldest graveyard in Arizona. So, okay, lots of ghost sightings, like I said. They'll see like shadowy figures, strange lights, eerie sounds, just coming from the graveyard, right? There's Billy Clayton. He was one of the outlaws buried in Boot Hill and is said to be a frequent apparition. I'm going to save the best for last. So, there was a journalist, and I think this is more than just a journalist saying this, like they'll hear like children's voice whispering from like unmarked graves, followed by like louder bellowing sound, Some, they have gotten apparitions on camera as well. And so they're like, why the hauntings? Like, it was named for many people buried who died violently, often still wearing the boots, like I kind of said earlier. So it is home to the McCleary brothers, who also died in the Coral gunfight, and the let's see, they also offer night tours, by the way. Okay, so just
wait a minute. I love this. When people say night tours, I'm like,
say,
a lot at night.
listen.
Damn.
Sometimes when you're doing the reading, it's just easier to turn the light off because you see it so much clearer. But then you ask yourself, like, Is there something wrong with me? Why can I see the dark clearer than the light? Bum bum bum. So, or doo doo doo. Okay, wah wah wah. It's stuck in my head now. So, there is a lady in red. Okay, her name. Can you guess the name, Karli? Can you guess the name?
Mary.
Yes.
No way.
So, listen,
It's only the second one that had Mary in it.
when we did true crime, like it seemed like everybody's name was Mary. It's just such a freaking popular name. Marys were dying, Marys were killers, but mostly dying. I don't know what the hell was up with that. Um, or they were haunting people. I could see that, but anyways, her name is China Mary, also known as Sing Choi. She was a businesswoman who operated a general store, and opium dens and Tombstone. So some believe like she's a solid apparition. She's seen pursuing the premises in a red gown. So go Mary. Um so okay. She also supplied the red light district with hops, essentially serving as a godfather to the community. Um, and yeah, there was a whole thing and I completely lost it. But yeah, so if you go over there and you see a lady in the red gown, just be like, your name is Lady in Red and China, but not Mary. Okay. But they also, and it kind of goes into again, like you see a lot of kids giggling, like you see a lot of different, like it seems like this place has a lot going on, just because it was so, they were like, and the thing about it was, I couldn't even figure out how this even started. Like, what were they fighting about? So imagine my imagination is running wild. Like, you stole my beer. You owe me money for my beer. No, that's my beer. Tom, hand me the whiskey. Sing Troy, bring my drink, woman.
No, what do they call them? What do they call them? Wench.
Wank.
My bear,
Wait, is
you
that
beer,
racist?
you wench.
Hawk too. But anyways,
That's
I
where she
hope
really came from.
so this has been the funnest one so far for me. I hope y'all enjoy.
Hey guys, it's La Monyeka here from Harlots of Spooktalk. Just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to be doing Haunted Arizona this weekend, or this week. And I just could not pick one thing. Karli and Miss LD are going to be doing one piece at a time. But you guys, I found so many things in Arizona that have been considered to be haunted and have history that I think I'm just going to pull out a whole bunch of different things. So I did find Jerome Grand Hotel, Hotel San Carlos in Phoenix, Birdcage Theater, Hotel Monte Vista, Casey Moore's Oyster House, and Vulture Gold Mines. Now these are just a few of the things that I have to talk about. They're going to be not too in depth, but enough, just to kind of get you guys going. And I think I have a few more I can squeeze in here if you give me some time. So I look forward to you guys hearing about all these haunted places in Arizona, and I will see you tonight.
All right. So when we first started talking about Arizona and doing the hauntings, I went and did like just a whole bunch of different research, like we all did, right? And we all picked one. I just couldn't pick one because there was so many. I was like, I'm going to do a little of a couple. So I'm just going to start. You guys are going to go through with me with my notes, okay? So let's see. I have so Arizona is definitely rich in history of it being like a mining area. Um and its ancient lands is where very well known. It's brimming with tales of supernatural things going on in many different places and not just one place in Arizona. So like the whole state is known for different areas having different hauntings. Some of the most famous ones reported that we know of the state that have been like prominent about them is, let's see, we say I think it's Jerome Grand Hotel in Jerome, in that small city. That city alone has like a lot of stuff that's haunted, but this is just something that I have found. It says it was once a state-of-the-art hospital. The hotel was a hospital at first. It said it was famously known for its residents' spirits, including former nurses and doctors, and even patients who have met their ends at the moment. I mean, at those moments in time. So now it was a hospital before. It's a hotel now, but because the building was first a hospital, a lot of doctors, patients, nurses who had passed away in that hospital are still known to be seen, even now that it's a hotel. Still, they describe the nurses in the nurses' white jacket and the doctors um, having like the outline of a man apparition, very broad shoulders, and like they look like they're wearing a jacket as opposed to the nurse who would wear the dress, you know? So they have a lot of people seeing that they're seeing apparitions even now that it's a hotel, but they're asking if there's doctors when they're asking people about it. It says many have reported their strange phenomenons, and Jerome, the town itself, is definitely a very booming town, considering one of the most haunted cities in Arizona. So that was pretty cool to know about Jerome. Now, Jerome is in Jerome. So the Jerome Grand Hotel is actually in the city of Jerome, which is known for its city like being very, very like haunted for it being a small, a city. Let's see, we have Copper Queen Hotel, and this is in Bisbee, Arizona. It says the historic hotel in the old mining town of Bisbee is said to be home of several ghosts, including a woman named Julia Lowell, a prostitute who allegedly committed suicide there. Guests have reported encounters with a very tall capped gentleman as well, a giggling young boy. I think that would totally scare me, and other spectral features. But the one that they really talk about is this giggling little boy. Sometimes people say they hear giggling little girls like ha ha ha, when they hear like that. The boy's voice is very prominent. They say it's like they know it's a young boy laughing, but it's not like a cackle. It's just like a giggle, but like when a little kid would be playing. But for me, I think that would have scared me the most, being at a place like that, hearing little children laugh and not seeing anything. I think that for me is one of the scariest things that I have will ever probably hear is children.
Yes.
They talk about let me make sure I have this right. When they talk about Julia Lowell, they don't really say exactly where or what specific room she passed or she unalived herself, but that's just the story that they know that she did it, and that's it. Like, it's very, like, a lot of times when we go into these researches, they'll say, oh, this is the room, don't go into this room. They don't say the room, I guess, and I'm assuming it's because it's a hotel. They don't want their guests to not want to stay in that room, and they haven't had trouble in it, but they do see her sometimes. People who, of course, it's been a long time, but people who knew her knew what she looked like, and when people explain it, they're like, oh, that's the girl who's supposedly herself. So that's those two are the main ones that they talk about there. Now we go to Birdcage Theater. Now this is in Tombstone, Arizona, as a formal brothel and saloon, since we're harlots and we love to talk about that, and the gambling hall in the town of it's called Town Too Tough to Die. Yeah. Okay, so let me make sure I say this right. The gambling hall in the Town Too Tough to Die, the Birdcage Theater, has seen its share of violence, for sure. It's believed to be one of the most haunted places in Tombstone, with reports of over 26 ghosts and plenty of other things that have in the bloody past. Now, when we talk about saloons and things, and we joke about it in the cowboy times, like, saloons were actually places people died a lot because enemies went to saloons to relax and ran into each other, people there, ran into their enemies there. And saloons weren't just, party, gambling, and women. It was like people all went to relax. And sometimes people who were not getting along with each other went to the same saloon. So when they say 26 ghosts in this vicinity, I think like, wow, like, I think one of us walking in there would be like, this is a little bit much for me. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I think
Why
about
the
when they
hell you over here, Richard? Dude.
I just wanted a drink. I didn't need everybody's 27 ghosts here. Say 26 ghosts. So that's one thing too I thought about with that one. Um, 26 ghosts. I was just like, when I saw that, I was like, I wouldn't even go into that. I wouldn't even go into that theater. Let's see. We have the Hotel Monta Vista in Flagstaff of Arizona.
Oh my
The
gosh,
hotel is
yes.
also known to have a lot of variety of ghosts, and They call this one a phantom bellboy.
Okay, so hear me out. Okay, so when I think of Flagstaff, I think of that show with the guy with all the wives, sister wives.
Oh my
Okay,
god!
because Mary with an I, she lives in Flagstaff. She actually owns a hotel, a bed and breakfast over there. I don't know how deep y'all got into the show, but I watched everything.
I didn't watch. I only watched the first like couple, and then it started to get a little bit. I just didn't have time to watch it. So
No, I made the time. Like it's not
nice.
it's not just a
She
show,
got a
it's
bed
a
and breakfast in this
lifestyle.
town.
Huh?
She has a bed and breakfast in Flagstaff.
Yes. Yes. Wait,
We should visit it.
yes. And yeah, cause and then her mom died. But yeah, it's a whole thing. And you should watch it. And it was like but
I'm
I
gonna watch
always
it just
kind of
for that.
wondered about that hotel. I was like, I've always wondered, like I kind of want to go just one for the ghost and two, she seems like cool people. I like her name. But she's also kind of like, I don't know, she gives Pisces energy, so I don't know. We'll see.
I see energy. So okay, so in the hotel Monte Vista, where they have this they phantom boy, they say he knocks on doors, and people like think that it's kids like messing with him, which I still to
I
this day
hope it's not
have
3 times.
no idea. And then let's see, there's also a woman they say that walks the halls, and there was actually a bank robber who died in that lounge. So sometimes they see what they would think would be this bank robber, because I guess they have a picture of him in there as well. And that's what people see, that they see as an apparition. But those three people are prominent in the Hotel Monte Vista in Flagstaff. There's the phantom little boy. They call him the phantom bellboy who knocks on doors. Um, the woman who just randomly walks the halls, and the bank robber who actually died in that lounge. So those are three different people in that hotel. And then we have the Casey Moore's Oyster House. Well, I'll say that one 3 times, right? Casey Moore Oyster's House. And that one is, I don't know if I'm saying this right. It's Tempe. Is it Tempe or Temp? I don't know. It's Tempe, Arizona. I don't want to butcher that one.
Tempe,
But I maybe, yeah, that's what I thought, but
maybe.
I don't know.
I think they say it temp. I've
Yeah.
heard people call in and say call it temp. But it looks like tempeh. But I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, either way. So the Casey Moore Oyster House there, it's really popular. It's a very popular restaurant. It was actually once a boarding house. It was rumored to have be haunted by a young woman who was murdered in the upstairs area. Patrons say that and staff have reported the swinging lamps. They see swinging lamps, rearranged furniture. You know how we talk about things being moved? Like, I'm one of those people who's OCD. So like when things are moved, I know they're moved, and I know I didn't do it. So she rearranges furniture and flying silverware. That one scared me when I saw that one. I was like, I don't know if I would, because like this place is really known for like having really good oysters. I've looked at the photos, like the plate actually. Like, I'm not an oyster lover, but I know what good oysters look like. And they're known for their oysters. And I think about it like, can you imagine going to eat oysters and then just seeing a fork fly? You know what I mean? Like, I could not, like, I don't want to get stabbed. So this
No.
is one of the, I'm sure, many things that people talk about there. But um, like I said, it was a boarding house before, and now it's a restaurant. So before it was a boarding house, which we all know what happens in boarding houses. It's a restaurant now, and the fact that a young woman was murdered I'm sorry, I'm gonna make sure that she was murdered in the upstairs when it was a boarding house. Now that it's a restaurant, people are reporting that where the upstairs would be on the same bottom floor where the lamps that are on the walls or on the ceilings, they rock. And then, of course, like they said, they see rearranged furniture that they blame on her, and the flying silverware. They just naturally are saying that they assume that maybe she's just wanting attention. But I mean, flying silverware in a restaurant is just not. I don't know if I
Is
would.
she angry or is she trying to get attention? Is she trying to
I
get
don't
attention
know.
for a reason?
Flying silverware still freaks me out in a restaurant.
I'd be
Now
like,
that was the Casey Moore's Oyster House.
oh,
Let's
oysters.
see. We also have.
We
Let's
can
see.
always do. We can always like. this Aries come back to Arizona again because they do. I noticed that they do have a lot to offer. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have, let me see. Let's do one more. We have the Yama Territorial Prison. I like those. Sometimes when we talk about, we should do one on haunted prisons, by the way. Those are good. This one's in Yama. It says the historic prison is known for its harsh conditions. It was said to have been haunted by former inmates. Visitors have reported disembodied voices, very, very cold spots, and random apparitions. Sometimes it almost looks like there's a crowd of people as apparitions. So that was something I think that, and
That'd be
it doesn't
interesting.
say that it turned into anything, but I'm assuming that it's just a closed down prison, maybe, like an abandoned prison. But yeah, that was one of the ones I was like, we talked about all different kinds. They even have mines here. They have the Vulture Gold Mine as well. But I thought it was kind of random how we had a couple of hotels, we had a couple of boarding houses. Now we have a restaurant with flying things. We had another one that had 26 ghosts. I was like, I can't just pick one, so we're just gonna throw them all together.
I
And
understand.
yeah, and this is just a tip of what I have. Like this is just like a quarter of what I have. But I really think that we should definitely go and try out some hotels or some things over there in Arizona, because for us being travelers and wanting to get that experience out there more, I feel like we should definitely go to Arizona, find a place there. I'm sure there's many, many other places we could go to while we're in the Arizona as well.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think we are running out of time.
Yeah.
So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And yeehaw, howdy, partner.
See you later.
Toodaloo.
Don't forget, the lessons being